refund check is here! Time to go to Tahiti. Tax refund check. Okay, wait. Look, I don't want to be a cold bucket of water, but maybe blowing all of your tax refund on a vacation to Tahiti isn't exactly the best use of our funds. But this is free money. I can spend it on whatever I want. Yeah, no, and you're exactly right. You totally can. And if you do, that's completely fine. But whenever we get extra money, we really need to think about the financial goals we might have. Financial goals? Well, I guess if I'm gonna be responsible, what do you recommend? Well, let's get into it. The average tax refund in America is $2,500 to $3,000, which means around March or April of each year, a lot of us have a lot of extra money to spend if we choose. And we could take that money and spend it on a vacation to Tahiti, but would that be the best use of our money? First, we have to look at our current financial situation and ask ourselves a few questions. Number one, if an emergency happened, would we have the funds necessary to cover that emergency? A good recommendation is have $1,000 set aside in a separate account, so if any life event happens, if something breaks down, then we're ready with that $1,000 that we're not touching unless that emergency happens. So goal number one, save $1,000 of my tax refund. Check. Number two, we need to look at any high interest rate debt that we currently have and see if this extra money can be applied to that. So I've always said that any loans that we have charging over 10% interest, and that 10% line is kind of the threshold that I use because we can get 10% back on investments that we make in our retirement accounts. So if you have credit cards or personal loans or anything that's charging over 10%, then it's my recommendation that that's really messing up our financial plan, and those should be paid off as quickly as possible. Pay down credit card debt. I got some of that too, I guess I'll have to take a look at. Number three, we should look at any upcoming expenses and set aside money to make sure that those are covered as well. So any vehicle expenses, such as new tires or regular maintenance that needs to be done, maybe school supplies, so upcoming expenses, or maybe we know that our air conditioner's on its last leg in our home, or there's something else that's gonna need to be replaced, like the water heater. We can set aside money if we know that those expenses are coming so that we don't have to turn to the high interest rate credit card debt whenever that event happens. Nothing's gonna break down. And I got tires like 2 or 3 years ago, so I'll be fine. Number four is dealer's choice, meaning after these initial 3 emergency categories are covered, then we have more flexibility to do with whatever money is left over as we please. Wait, dealer's choice? So I can go to Tahiti? What? So to me, the 3 categories that we really need to look at is A, make sure that we have $1,000. I mean, $1,000 to me is a minimum to have set aside. So if anything crucial happens, we have the money there to pay for that emergency, whatever it may be. Number 2 is going to be paying off that high interest rate debt. So that's anything, to me, anything above that 10% mark. And that includes most credit cards, personal loans, that type of thing. If it's over 10%, it's just eating us up financially. So number 3 is setting aside funds for anything that we know for a fact will be coming, whether that be a child's trip for school, or whether that be new tires, as we said. If we know that this expense is going to occur, then it's good for us to set aside that money now, so whenever it happens, we're ready. But once we have all 3 of these categories done, then essentially it's really up to us how it is we want to spend the money. Yes. Tina, eat your dinner. Now, if we're the type of person who comes into extra money and knows we absolutely want to and will spend it on something fun, then go ahead. Look, take 10% of the total amount, whatever it may be, and go on a weekend trip. Or buy that PlayStation 6 that we've been eyeing for the past few months. So after we have those first 3 categories covered, I would like for us to look at any interest rate debt that we have from the 5 to 10% range. And look, I know it's not something that we necessarily want to pay off, but having that extra income in our budget every month is going to do wonders in helping us save and invest for the future. So, saving and paying off debt, using your money is a very personal decision, and we each have to decide exactly the path that we want to take. But if you watch this YouTube channel, we are going to go over ideas on ways to save money, ways to set up a budget, ways to save for retirement, ways to pay down debt, all of that right here on this YouTube channel. Okay. What's your YouTube channel name? Common Sense Money Tips. All right. I guess I'll check it out. And if you have not yet subscribed like this guy, then make sure you smash that subscribe button. And if you're wanting to know the difference between renting and buying a house, or buying and leasing a vehicle, then check either of these two videos out. Hopefully it can answer you some questions and entertain you in the process.